If there's one skill that changes everything with Claude, it's this one: writing a good prompt. The difference between a mediocre answer and a genuinely useful one is almost never the model. It's the instructions you give. So let's learn how to write prompts that get you exactly what you want every time. Let's start with the demonstration. Here's the same model answering the same underlying question twice. On the left, a vague request, help with this contract, gets a vague generic answer that you'll have to redo yourself. On the right, a structured request gets something you could actually use. Nothing changed except the instructions. That is the entire game. A strong prompt is built from up to 5 building blocks. You won't always need all 5, but when an answer disappoints, one of them is usually missing. Role: who Claude should be. Setting a persona shapes the vocabulary and the depth of everything that follows. Context: the background it needs. This is the single most common missing piece, so add it first when answers feel off target. Task: the clear, specific instruction. Not help me, but a specific verb and a specific outcome. Constraints: the limits, tone, length, reading level, and what to avoid. And format: the shape of the output. Ask for the format up front, and you save yourself the reformatting later. Beyond the blocks, there are techniques that suit different kinds of task. 3 cover almost everything. 0 shot, you just ask, with no examples. It works well when the task is clear and the expected output is obvious. Most quick requests are 0 shot. Few shot, you show Claude 1 or 2 examples of what good looks like before the real request. It's the most reliable way to lock in a specific tone or format, and quality beats quantity. 1 strong example anchors the output better than 5 weak ones. Chain of thought: for anything with math, logic, or multiple steps, ask Claude to reason step by step before answering. Working through it out loud dramatically improves accuracy on hard problems. One distinction is worth knowing well. There are 2 different places instructions can live. The system prompt sets persistent rules: the persona, the tone, the do's and don'ts, and it applies across the entire conversation. The user prompt is your specific request each turn. Standing rules and personality go up in the system prompt. The task of the moment goes in the user prompt. If Claude keeps drifting out of character, move those instructions up to the system level. When a prompt gets long or has several parts, structure it. Wrapping each section in simple tags makes your instructions unambiguous. Role, context, task, format, each in its own tag. Claude parses tagged sections cleanly, and it helps you too. You can tweak one section without disturbing the rest, which makes iterating much faster. One especially useful kind of constraint: telling Claude what not to do. If its default answers keep including something you don't want, legal disclaimers, bullet points, a certain phrase, a negative constraint removes it. Do not include any disclaimers. Simple, and it works. Now don't expect the perfect prompt on the first try. Nobody writes one. Prompting is a quick loop. Start simple, a single instruction, no extras. Then look at the output and read it critically. Diagnose exactly what's wrong. Is it the tone, the format, or missing information? Add the one block that fixes it and test again with the same input. 2 quick rounds beats agonizing over the first draft. Here's the loop in action with a real example. You ask Claude to summarize this report, and it hands back a summary that skips the numbers that matter. The diagnosis: it didn't know which figures were key. The fix is context. Tell it to focus on revenue, margin, and headcount. Same task, one added block, and a completely different usable result. That single move, naming what important means, solves a huge share of disappointing answers. A few patterns come up again and again. Here's the fix for each. Inconsistent tone across emails. Add a couple of example emails, a one-line answer to a complex question, chain of thought plus a length constraint, Claude breaking character mid-chat, move the persona to the system prompt, unwanted disclaimers, a negative constraint. Notice how each fix is just adding the missing block. So build with the 5 blocks, pick the technique that fits the task, structure it with tags, and iterate. Do that and you'll get more out of Claude than most people ever do. But here's the catch. A great sounding answer isn't always a correct one. Knowing the difference is a skill of its own, and that's lesson 3.